Hey guys, welcome. This is Isaac.
And I'm Josh.
And this is the Year One Podcast.
And we're on a roof. So Isaac, I'm cold today.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm cold this evening.
What's the weather like outside right now?
It's clear, and I don't want to be outside.
Partly cloudy with a chance of rain, 50%. No, guys, we're actually outside right now. It's a funny story. We couldn't get into our location, so we had a great idea from Eric and Wesley behind the camera to shoot it on a roof.
That's not important though. What's important is we're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. So I love it. I love this idea, and that's the whole point of the podcast is just make stuff up as you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I'm cold.
I'm cold, yeah. So in the spirit of Valentine's Day, which was yesterday, which this podcast won't air then, but however.
Time to get it on. I feel like weatherman. I like everything about this, but I feel like
weatherman with
but you're saying,
hint of relationship advice. However, the whole thing we were going to talk about today was kind of like what is your thoughts on relationships, like, and how they affect
our lives,
our lives, and like our, like what we talk about in this podcast with like pursuing what we want to do in life, and like it can be a various amount of things, but
for sure,
that's we'll start it off.
So relationships, man, that's a big deal. Romantic friendships, mother, father, big brother,
little brother.
I think what we talked about the first week, like what is your why? I think relationships play in a big role coming in that. Yeah. But I think relationships, just like the classic quote, like they can take you up or they take you down, and you need to have some good relationships around you to help you with that. And a romantic spouse or romantic person can really take you a lot of places, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah, they're a big deal, and depending on who's in your corner, that's where you're gonna go.
Sorry, I almost fell.
Huh?
Sorry, I almost fell.
Don't think about it.
No, it's just we're on an edge.
Yeah, like you can't see, but there's just
40
a drop.
feet down.
It's probably like 15, but we break our backs.
Violating a lot of OSHA laws. No, no, I think that's great. My kind of whole thing is like, what?
Well, how about this? Let me interrupt you real quick.
No, interrupt me, please.
As a dude, since we're dudes, thinking about like Valentine's Day was yesterday. Like, what's like girls? Like, let's just jump into it. Like, that's the real meat of this.
I don't know why I said
like, how has that affected? How have girls affected you in your life?
How they affected me in my life?
Like, tell me how they like really just
a lot of breakups. No, I almost said girls play a big role in my life, which they do. I mean, friendships, honestly, that's how it starts.
Okay, hang on. Now that you said it, I cannot stop thinking about this edge.
Okay,
right here.
easy.
All
don't.
right.
I don't.
You're fine.
I'm trying to like ignore that.
So, question might be, like, how have girls affected you in your life?
Yeah.
Give it to me straight.
I think because growing up, at least I was told, in your 20s is the time to start dating, and then get married before you're 30.
Okay.
And then settle down.
So you get the expectation set kind of
get
early.
that like expectation of just settling down, like 30. And that's not something I really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I have this insane amount of knowledge on dating or anything like that, but I think to me I think it's a development.
How so?
Like I wouldn't say I've had many dates, but I've had a couple long relationships that I started to understand what I knew, what I wanted in a wife one day,
Mm-hmm.
or at least in a relationship, in a
Yeah.
romantic relationship. And one thing is, when there's someone else that you're in a relationship with, there's someone around you that has their aspirations, their wants, what they want to do in life. You kind of have to compromise almost, especially as you get older. You kind of think about it. You're like, okay, if I was to get married to this person, I need to have this commitment, and that's a big thing of like what I think I personally struggle with is like understanding, okay, what's my commitment level, and then other thing of submission, to be okay with kind of not compromising, but strategizing. Okay, well, I want to do what you want to do because I love you, and vice versa. And so having that, I haven't found that yet, but I think that's something I want, and that's something I've seen from past relationships and from dating. I think it's great to date around.
Dope. So
yeah.
What I extract from that is girls, something they've taught you in your life is what's valuable and what's not valuable.
Yeah.
Another question for you, and we can both answer on this, but why do you think there's so much pressure when Valentine's Day comes up, and then just certain stuff like romantic, like Christmas is Christmas, and it's a giving holiday, but it's also super romantic, super like have someone like get cuffed up, whatever someone would like to say, like
yeah.
Why is there so much pressure? I think like just speaking on the dude side, like why is there so much pressure to want to be so early or around these days?
I like how you said cuffed up, because I feel like that's what it is sometimes. Like there's an expectation of, okay, I gotta get this. I gotta get my lady this, and this, and it's like things, and it's like
the idea of attachment.
Yeah, and honestly, if your lady or man is Look, I'm talking about different sides. Women too as well might be watching this podcast.
Or go ahead. I was about to make a really dumb joke.
I know you were. But I lost my train of thought. No, if your partner is having the expectation that they need something from you that is, not out of, just out of the physical and not out of the emotional, or not out of, love or anything besides just giving you things, then that's a red flag. That's a red flag for me.
Okay.
Some people that's their love language of giving gifts, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about it's just like, oh, I expect you to get me roses.
Yeah.
I expect you to get me I expect you to get me this gift for Valentine's Day, and I think it becomes this obsession that we have to have the dopest, Valentine's Day for our wives, or on the single side, the expectation of getting into a relationship, which is a whole other thing.
Right.
Which I've been talking a lot, so I want you to kind of like give me some thoughts on that. What do you feel like? What do you feel like the expectation really boils down to with being single and that whole thing around that?
For sure. So I think the expectation, the pressure, I think a lot of those things just from relationships, like why shouldn't I be single, or why should I stay in this relationship, why I want someone so bad. I think that comes from I want to be validated. I want someone to tell me I'm special, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we long from that from another person. And actually I talked earlier today with a friend about this, but like we want someone to love us before we love ourselves. And then quickly, like if you ever have been in a relationship and then out of, you realize, oh, like I needed that myself before someone started giving it to me.
Yeah.
And long enough, like if someone starts giving you something, you start relying off that. But I just think the pressure comes from like social media. I think it comes from parents, from families, just what we see out in the world. Because Instagram is full of like Twitter, Facebook. It's like people married,
Instagram,
relationships, your friends in relationships.
Yeah.
And I think like just knowing like what's right and not right. So I think like if you're watching a movie and you're like, how come my life doesn't look like that? Well, it's not your movie, you know? It's not your life. So I think when you do look at social media and like other stuff, that pressure comes on, and you got to realize that's not you.
Yeah.
So I think, like, also on another side of the coin, like, it's fun to be in a relationship. Like, of course you want to do everything and more with the other person or that girl.
It's fun.
But for dudes, I think it's oh, you haven't got a girl yet? Or,
So
like,
that
how many
pressure.
girls do you have? Because that's a game, too. Like, in high school, it's like, I slept with this many girls. And it's like, oh, my count's not up. But, like, if that's the game you're playing, which I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But that's also a thing.
Not.
So it's also sometimes a competition, which is not, I mean, in my opinion, not the right game to play. But some people play it.
I think
the pressure is just from the world.
I think it's pride.
How so?
The feeling of needing something that you can't necessarily obtain at the moment, and so you rush into it.
Yeah.
Because you feel like people are looking at you like, oh, you don't have, you know, so you're like, oh, I have to keep this reputation up, so I'm going to get back in a relationship when I don't need to be in one. And there's other things. There's also just, like, honestly, I would say personally, like, I've felt that way, and it's been more of self-esteem mixed with pride, not wanting people to either know I'm single, or when they make a joke like I'm single, I go, oh, come on, man, or like, no, I try to play it off instead of being like, yeah, I'm single. I've been really trying. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but it's cold.
The train's speaking for us, so.
We're outside, so we have to compromise with all the noises.
For sure.
Love the city.
Love the
city, though.
Here's another question. So, how about this? Do you think people should get married younger or later? Do you think they should wait for it? That's a random question.
No, that's not random. I mean,
what's on this topic, but
yeah.
What do you think about that?
Ooh.
I mean, we're both super young. Like,
yeah.
We have friends that are married already, young, like they're younger than us, and we have friends who wait till they're.
Shoot, yeah.
30.
I mean, when I was in college, people were like already getting engaged.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you even have, you know, Social Security? Like, are you ready to, like?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some people do rush into it.
But do you think like people?
I think some people rush into it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's, for me, I don't think it's good to get married
younger.
Young. But I'm like flipping both sides of the coins. But when people do, they can learn from it and then be like, okay, we did get married really young, so now we got to like figure out these bills together. We got to figure out, living together, how that dynamic's going to work.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on the person, because I've seen people get married and it ends really bad because they got married really early.
Yeah.
And then I've seen my other friends that are still married and have happy marriages because they got married like right in college. And it's like to me, it's like, whoa, I barely can put my pants on correctly, to go to class. I'm talking about college. Like, I couldn't even think about getting married in college, really young. Or, even in high school, like, I don't think you should, but people are.
Yeah. Right. So you're talking about like responsibility and maturity level,
so like
let it grow.
What is that? That depends on like your maturity level.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
What you're willing to go through, and if you're ready to take that on, then go for it.
Yeah. Getting married younger or later? I think it depends on the people. Like, I think that's really situational. But I know people. I have two friends. They got married at 19, and they're having a great time. Now, I don't know everything behind the scenes, but
yeah, they are.
I know some people, like some family members that got married really young, and they're still kicking till in their 50s.
Yeah.
So I really think it's just who are the people, and then we can break that down.
It's what you're getting into. No prenups are being signed.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I heard a story recently that a man was engaged to a girl for like 6-7 years, and he was waiting to hit those 6 figures till they did the wedding, till they did everything else.
Wow.
And it was like, bro, like I think there's some extremes in this conversation
Yeah.
of like, should you wait or should you not? But I think those are up to the people, man. I really think it's up to the couple, because some couples do great, some couples don't. So
he like waited, like to ask her to marry her.
No, he proposed to her.
Okay.
Well, I think they were dating for like 4 years, and then
Yeah.
they were engaged for like another 5 or 6. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
So he could
Man.
he was waiting for that money to get up, and which is understandable.
yeah.
Like waiting for the money to get up
Yeah.
before they can move into a place. And
Mm.
I just like, what? Like,
Yeah. That's wow.
why are you waiting? You know,
Dude, I could not wait that long. Oh,
But of
man.
course, I'm 21. Like I'm speaking from a perspective where like, you know, like I'm younger. So,
Well, yeah,
but yeah, that's my
I
thing.
think
on
you
marriage,
know when you know, you know.
I guess.
Another question to bounce off that. What
Yeah.
when it comes to, say for you, fighting is something you want to do.
Yeah. I want to fight.
How do you think that is going to affect your relationships in the future? And I know that's kind of like a broad question,
Yeah.
but like how do you, like what do you want from somebody that either that obviously supports that,
Yeah.
obviously wants you to be a fighter,
Yeah.
but as well as
My butt's coming out.
Atlanta Live is flying over us right now.
Yeah.
We should do a segment on Channel 2 Action News
For real.
coverage you can count on.
But your question.
Question of like what is kind of like the goal for that, and like how do you want your relationships, like you personally, how you want them to affect how you get into fighting, like
Yeah.
like
so
do you want to be single when you're like starting to fight?
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
like it's that
Gotcha.
grind.
Got
It's the
you.
same with acting. It's like it's hard to
Yeah.
be in a relationship and
Yeah.
pursuing something that potentially is not going to make you money,
Gotcha.
or
Yeah,
or
yeah.
be able to support.
Of course.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on that. If you don't know me, one of my dreams is to become a UFC fighter,
Yep.
which can typically not be so profitable, very dangerous,
Mm.
just a lot of like a very time-consuming job, and it's a sport. So
Yeah.
you could trip and hit your face and you're done. Like it could be like the most stupid thing, but it's a sport, so there's no guarantee. But I would like someone who supports me in my dreams. I think sometimes we wait for our ducks to be in a row, which I still do in certain parts of my life. Like I wait for things to get right so I can move to the next step.
Yeah.
And I think you'll never be ready enough. Just jump.
Yeah.
So as far as me and relationships goes, like I would like someone who supports that. I think for me, what I've been going through recently, like for me to feel alive, I need to start pursuing my dreams, and I haven't been.
Mm.
And so I would like for someone to be in the space to be like, go do your dreams. Like go, I want to push you and excel you in that area. So I would like my future spouse to be down. And am I waiting? Heck no.
Yeah.
If I wait, I don't want to wait till 26, 28. Now, if that happens, it happens.
Mhm.
But as far as like fighting goes, yeah, it's not the most ideal thing. Like, hey, let's settle down. Let's, But yeah, I'm not gonna wait.
If it comes to it where you meet this girl,
Yeah.
this is a hypothetical,
Yeah.
and you're really hitting it off, things are going good,
Mhm.
You're jiving,
Mhm.
whatnot.
Show.
If she tells you to give up fighting,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do?
I'd be like, why? I'd say some bad words too. I'd be like, what?
Listen. Yeah, well, like because now you could say it, but you know,
Okay.
when you invested in a relationship, you invested into time, into, you know, nurturing and
Yeah.
you know, spending time together.
I guess that would depend on what's going on in life.
Yeah.
But
It's
if
hard,
if that's the only if that's the question, like stop fighting,
It's one of those like
I would have to really consider.
it's either me or them. You know.
Well, that attitude, I'd be like,
Oh, of course.
I'll talk to you later, and I would say no.
That's an extreme. I'm throwing an extreme there, but yeah, just like really hard thinking about it. It's like, are you willing to give up something for a relationship? And
I see your question.
And is that something your sole purpose in life of what you want to do, which is fighting?
That's a great question. Yes, I think there's compromise. One of my leaders in my life put it like, instead of saying compromise, surrender. Like, what are you willing to surrender? Yeah. I think that's what the question's asking, is like, what are you willing to surrender for that particular other person? And I would say a lot, but again, I would just say it depends on the situation. Like, if it's a really bad health situation, or I would say it depends on the situation, so it'd be a maybe.
Yeah.
But right now in my head, nope. Nope.
Yeah.
What about you? Let's say you're an actor. You're trying to get into acting. You're trying to really break through. Like, acting propels for you. Would you want to wait on it to really go somewhere, or if the opportunity and a girl just came up and that situation happened the way you'd want it to? Would you stop for that, or not even stop, but would you like let that come in? Because it is a distraction, not like a bad distraction.
Yeah, I honestly would say right now, I'm not in a relationship. And so it's easier for me in my state of mind to be like, oh, yeah, no, that's what I want to do. You know, I want to act, you know, so anything to get in the way of that, I'm not going to allow it. However, I do want someone that supports me in, you know, my choice to pursue an acting career.
For sure.
And understands the struggles with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's always good to find someone that's kind of in the same corner as you and understands what you're doing. Yeah, I'm starting to lose circulation as well in here. But I would say currently no. Yeah, I don't think I could do it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
I'm headed down this track, and it's already like hard enough.
Yeah.
To like, you know, to keep myself alive.
For sure.
Yeah, but
that's good. Well, dope. I have another question for you.
I love it. I love questions. It's cold, man. It's so cold.
With girls, with wanting to do stuff, like, what would your advice be for younger Josh? Like the younger you, about girls? Like, let's rewind the clock 10 years. You're 15, 16, 15, 14.
Yeah. Sorry,
What advice would you give your younger self?
I was just laughing because we're using
our weather crew.
We're using our car to make the lights, and so like the diffusers keep flapping, and so it's like a music video. It's really cool, but it was just funny. Shout out to the guys in the back, Wesley and Eric. You know, they're doing a good job. This is not a sponsored section, but thanks guys for keeping the lights on.
Yeah, but to my question, what advice would you give younger Josh 10 years ago?
Younger advice?
If you could go and talk to him.
Oof, man.
About girls.
I was such a twerp.
Knowing everything you know, but like what advice would you give?
I would tell him...
Let me put it this way, to really make it important. Yeah. If you had 5 minutes with your younger self, what would you tell him?
If I had 5 minutes... I would tell him to invest into Yahoo. I'm kidding.
Oh, life hack.
No, I'm kidding. I would tell him not to try so hard. Not to try to be somebody you're not. because I knew myself. I was always trying to be someone I'm not.
Yeah.
And I was trying to fake it till I make it. I was trying to, please everybody. I was trying to please my classmates.
Yeah.
I was trying to, please my parents. And I would just tell them, dude, you don't have to try to do so much, because you're not even gonna. None of these people are gonna be in your life in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you don't understand that at the time because you only see, what's right in front of you.
For sure.
But yeah, I think I would just don't be a tryhard.
Yeah.
What about you?
If I could go 10 years back, man, I'd be like, first I'd say, you ugly. Like, don't look like the way you do. Don't dress the way you do.
Yeah.
Nah, but I would
This
tell
is
my
getting
younger
back
self.
to our bullying podcast.
Yeah. Do I think bullying's okay? Yes. And was I a bully? Yes.
And I'm gonna bully myself.
Come talk to me. The advice I'd give my younger self about girls, I would say, it would really revert to like self stuff. Like it'd be like, hey, love yourself some more. Because if you don't, I think when people don't love themselves, what's the movie? It's called Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah.
Well, the main character goes to the teacher, and he's talking about a girl he likes, and the girl's with some jerk, and he asks like, why do certain people get with bad people? And he simply said it like, we accept the love we think we deserve.
Yeah, because
if you're like, if you don't love yourself, like who you date is a reflection of you. Like who you want to be is a reflection of you. So I tell my younger self like 10 years ago. Oh shoot. Maybe let's do like 7 or 6. I don't know.
No, dude, no.
But
10 years ago.
No, 10 years. I just be like, love yourself. Like go on a self date or something. Like go watch him. That sounds like a self date. Like
yeah.
But I would just tell myself like, yo.
Could I even afford a self date 10 years ago?
We can ask your parents, if
I don't
go
know.
on like a movie.
That's true.
But I would just tell myself to appreciate. I'd be like, yo, appreciate yourself more and love yourself. Because if you can't love yourself, it's really hard to give that to another person when you haven't done it yourself.
That's good. I actually like that.
I'd really tell him, like, don't rush. It's all good. All the girls you think are cool are not cool. Like, everyone you think is cool in school, like, as soon as you walk out of high school, it's fame, popularity goes out the window.
Yeah.
But, just tell him, like, wait and invest in yourself. Like, that's it.
That's
like,
good.
nothing right now matters. So.
That's good.
But I actually kind of like that question because now it thinks like, what would my older self tell myself right now about life?
He would tell you to, why are you standing on the edge?
Yeah, bro. Why is your butt freaking numb on
a roof right now?
Yeah.
No, my older self would love this moment right now. It would make me want to go back to it.
Sure. Yeah.
But
on this topic of women, like, I think for guys, it's tough. I think there's two sides, and when you're looking for a girl, ask yourself why. Like
it's like that's that why thing.
Like, like it's not. I don't want to demonize. Like if you want to be in a relationship, then don't. But
no,
just ask yourself.
No,
why.
it's bringing up the question of all your relationships. Like how are they affecting you?
Yeah.
How are you affecting them? Because you got to think about how you're affecting others as well.
Of course.
But look out for numero uno. And
look out for yourself.
And understand.
Clip your toenails. Put some lotion on your body, especially if you different color.
But like question that. Always be questioning it, and I don't think you should be questioning. Like if you were starting to question it at some point, then there's things that are starting to go south in your relationship already.
Or just communicate those things and figure out like where the root is.
Yeah. No, like another thing of like what we talked about of don't hold everything in. Say something. Bring it up. Communicate. Tell the other person how you feel because they have their own feelings and they're not gonna always be able to read your mind.
For sure. Honestly, like just to interrupt you real quick, like I think something I want to end with this.
Yeah.
But I remember listening to an interview. I think Lecrae was talking about it, but I think he was talking about girls. But it was just like, yo, like, when's the last time you seen a Ferrari or Lamborghini commercial? Like, can you think of the last time you saw a Ferrari or Lamborghini commercial on TV? or on
no,
YouTube.
I saw a Ferrari, but that was in real life.
And that's my point. Like,
Yeah.
what cars advertise? Honda, Subaru, Toyota. Like, when you see a Ferrari, you know it's a Ferrari. You don't need to see an advertisement.
Yeah.
So you don't have to brand yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to push yourself out there. And the more that someone pushes themselves out there, the more, you know. Like, if you love yourself, like, be a Ferrari, be a Lamborghini. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't have to advertise yourself. And all I'm saying is don't show yourself off.
Dude, yes.
Love yourself. And I think when that person comes, it's going to come, and it's going to be awesome.
You have so many good quotes.
But
that's great. I like that. Be a Ferrari.
With that said, thank you. With that said, it is time for my butt not to be numb anymore, and it's time to close.
It's time to close this ish.
Yeah.
Get off this hill.
Yeah. All right.
Well, guys, that's been the Year One podcast. Thanks for watching. I'm Josh.
I'm Isaac.
And you've been watching us.
And so, the thing I was going to say is, if you have to
the
do
cops
it,
are coming.
If you had to do it with the animal. Oh, shoot. All right. I don't want to get into that. That's really gross.
Wait, come back.
Bye, guys.
Come back.
I don't want to talk anymore. I feel gross and ashamed. Bye.